Good evening. The news. Schools on Praslin and La Digue are to close with immediate effect, and this except for students writing international exams this year. This is in view of an increase in COVID-19 cases on Praslin and La Digue today. In a press release, the Ministry of Health has also advised members of the public to avoid all non-essential travels between islands. Tourism establishments on La Digue and Praslin should temporarily suspend bookings and stay for all resident clients from Mahé. These measures will be reviewed in 2 weeks. Fitch Ratings has maintained the Seychelles sovereign credit rating at B with a stable outlook. The rating agency predicts that the GDP of the country is meant to grow by 5% this year as tourism picks up, but it maintains that a rise in COVID-19 infections could result in further restrictions that might affect the recovery of the economy. The Minister for Finance, Economic Planning and Trade, Nadi Hassan, says that the stability in the rating since last review in December is due to the brave economic decisions taken. He indicated that there is a need to reduce government spending and the country's debt so that there is no drop in the rating.
The situation, the economic situation and financial situation of the government and the country has stabilized. Okay? If you remember, both in June and in December, there was a downgrade. So since the pandemic began, this is the first stabilization we have seen. And that in itself is a bit of a positive news. And now we have, in the next few months, we have to work very hard on trying to get an upgrade. So what are the factors that will impact on an upgrade is we have to continuously narrow the budget deficit, meaning that we have to, in terms of our expenditure and revenue in the budget, we have to make sure that we are not spending too much in relation to the revenue that we collect. Also, on the external side, in terms of the current account deficit, we have to narrow that as well, meaning in terms of foreign currency coming into the country, and that compared to what is going out, we also have to narrow that so that the reserve of the country is not impacted further.
More people are getting back into the world of work, and this is having a positive effect in the labor market. The Minister for Employment and Social Affairs, Patricia Francourt, says that there are several factors contributing to this improvement, such as the reopening of the airport and the tourism establishments and the vaccination program against COVID-19. She was giving details on the employment situation following questions in the National Assembly today. She also confirmed that people who are in need will continue to receive help from the Agency for Social Protection through the STC card system. However, efforts are ongoing to assure that the system is not being abused. The newly accredited ambassador of Angola to Seychelles is rekindling the bilateral relations between Seychelles and his country. This will be through numerous cooperations and agreements that will be drafted and signed in different areas.
Ambassador Sandro Agostinho de Oliveira expressed his interest in developing more direct cooperations when presenting his credentials to President Wevaram Kalawan this morning. He is the third Angolan ambassador to be accredited since diplomatic relations between the two countries were established in 1986. Both countries have only been active allied partners in the sphere of SADC and African Union. Ambassador de Oliveira intends to rekindle the bilateral relations by having numerous cooperations and agreements drafted and signed in different areas.
Que todos podemos tirar vantagem recíproca. Angola and Seychelles have very good relations. They have very good diplomatic relations, and they are mostly in the multilateral field, in the African Union and SADC. But it is now high time to improve the bilateral relations so that we can take these relations to the next, to the stage which they deserve. The ambassador will be here for the whole week, where he's working with various sectors from Seychelles. Just as an example, he's citing entrepreneurship, and the private sector are one sector which has already been mentioned.
After meeting with the president, the newly accredited Ambassador de Oliveira signed his first agreements with the minister responsible of foreign affairs. This was the General Cooperation Agreement and the agreement on the creation of a bilateral commission.
The agreements underpin our will and efforts to expand bilateral cooperation in several key areas. They will provide for the agencies concerned to undertake direct dialogue and consultations regarding the main cooperation aspects of our decades-long relations.
Ambassador de Oliveira also had talks with the Minister of Transport, Anthony DERJAQUES, on the possibility of having flights between Angola and Seychelles.
Angola has always been very attractive to Seychelles and to the Republic of Seychelles, not only because of the Chinese expats community that are living and stationed in Angola, and therefore there could have been a facilitation of air travel between the Republic of China, Seychelles and Angola through Air Seychelles, but also because of the economic and commercial ties that could be had between Angola and the Seychelles. As you know, Angola has vast oil and mineral wealth and fishing, and it has a very large and developed port.
Minister DERJAQUES said that his ministry will finalize discussions and sign the agreement in September.
Somebody else who also met with President Ramkalawan today was Mr. Jean-Marc Waro, having his own business whereby he can teach others how to surf, and having his own kiosk where he can work as a lifeguard was amongst one of the many points which he discussed with the president at State House. Mr. Waro is considered as a hero since he has saved many lives of people who have been in the danger of drowning in the region of Bilazar. Promoting reading was one of the main points which was discussed by writer Robert Modo with the President Ramkalawan again today at State House. This was after a visit this morning with the President. Mr. Modo presented the President a copy of his first book, which was released in April this year. He then also presented to the President another book which is going to be released soon. The Ministry for Education has officially launched its regulations that highlights the role of all partners involved in teaching and learning. Regulations for conditions of contractual obligations was launched to mark Children's Day today. This was in a small ceremony at the Poaglo Primary School. The Principal Secretary for Education Services, Dr. Odile Dekumamo, says the launching has been long awaiting. It was put on hold because of the pandemic in the country. She says that even if it was prepared before COVID, it still applies.
These regulations outlined the roles and responsibilities of every partner, including the school management, the teacher, the parent, the student, as well as the council chair who signed the pledge as a witness. This pledge is a symbolic ceremony, and these persons who signed are representations of the different groups of people. So we expect all schools now to do their own little event with their parent representative, their student, teachers, and so forth, and then to at least provide each of those persons with the roles and responsibilities as outlined in the regulation.
And with this, we've come to the end of this news summary. Thanks for watching.